everyone, so today's video is about Copic skin color combinations. And I know people will ask about other brands of markers, but I don't feel like I have enough colors in those other brands to make something like this. So at least for now, this video is going to be exclusive to Copic markers. And there are so many different colors to choose from that when you're trying to pick out colors to buy for yourself, it can be a bit daunting because there are so many, and so you might accidentally buy ones you don't like, or you might just have no idea where to start when it comes to getting certain types of colors, like for example skin tones. And I mean, ultimately any of the colors in this kind of area are fine. This is the hex chart, by the way, by Sandy Allnock. I'll link it in the video description if you want to get her chart. Anything here in the E's, the earth tones, any of those are fine. And it's kind of tough though to just say, oh, any of these colors work, because that's not really helpful to someone who doesn't know what colors to use. So although you can use any of these, and even some of the light pinks or these YRs, the oranges, all those colors are definitely usable. But I thought I would just kind of break it down into some charts like this to kind of tell you what combinations I like, just to give you some kind of starting point to go off of. So that's what I've been working on, and I will share my thoughts with you. So I guess we can just jump into looking at the chart. So here I have a variety of skin tones ranging from light to dark, and everyone's method of coloring is different. So just a few things I want to say about this are that, for example, some people like to add purples or blues into the shadows of their characters. I like to keep them warm colors because skin is warm colors, but if there is some kind of alternate lighting, then I'll add some other colors into it. But for the most part, I don't like to add those cool tones unless the picture itself has cool colors in it. So I've refrained from adding any additional extra colors into these other than the pink of the blush. I've just kept it to a basic skin tone that's sort of independent of what kind of lighting situation you have. Another thing about these is that you can take the exact colors that I used but go a bit lighter or go a bit darker. It just depends how much of the shading colors you use. It's totally up to you. Like even when I was practicing this out, when I was planning out what color combinations I liked best, sometimes it didn't turn out the same, even though I used the exact same colors, because it depends on how light or how dark you want to go within this color range. So just keep that in mind, that you can use these same colors and get a variety of tones too. So anyway, these are the combinations that I came up with that I like. And not only is this a reference for you guys, this is a great reference for myself, because it's something I've struggled with, and sometimes when I try to do certain skin tones, I just get it totally wrong. Like I did a couple Legend of Korra pieces, and my more recent one, the coloring is not on YouTube because I botched it so badly. You can only find the line art of it. I was trying to get her skin tone right, and it ended up just going way too dark, and it just frustrated me because I couldn't get what I wanted. And so that's why I've been wanting to do something like this. And I've also been holding off on this video because I wanted more Copic colors before doing this, because I wanted to be able to tell you guys which ones are good, or that I think are good, that I personally like to use to achieve these skin tones. But if I'm missing a ton of colors, I feel like I'm not really getting the best opinion on them. And so right now I'm missing, I think, 6 colors out of the E family. So I feel like that's close enough that I could come up with some good combos for you guys. So I guess I'll just walk you through them real quick. So for the first one, I used my light oranges, the YRs. I did quadruple 0, triple 0, 0, 1. And then for the blush, R00 and R01. And I also used 0, the colorless blender. That is the main area of her face, is just the colorless blender. It's the white of the paper showing through. So pretty much all I did was I took these colors, put in the shadows, and then blended them out with my lightest color and with the colorless blender. So that's how I got this one. And by the way, with these charts, you don't have to use all the colors I've listed. For example, this one has a lot of colors listed here. You could skip some. For example, you could use quadruple 0, but then skip triple 0. use the 00 and skip 01 and then use this one, that kind of thing. So if you're looking at this and saying, oh no, if I want to achieve that look, I have to get all those colors, you don't have to. You can pick and choose from these charts. And like I've mentioned, this is just a starting point. It's to give you an idea of what kind of colors you could get if you wanted to. So yeah, this one is the second lightest that I did, and I want to kind of show it at the same time as this one because I feel like this one's not that much darker than this one, but this one is a pink tone. This one is more of a yellow tone. So that's something you also want to take into account when doing this. This first one does fall under the peachy tone and even more slightly to the orange side. But this one's completely different than the first two because it's more yellow. And these are some of my go-to colors for skin tones. My E50, my E51, E53, those have always been my go-to colors because I think they're awesome. But at the same time, I'm really bad for going to my go-to colors. I start coloring, I go to my same pinks that I always use, my same blues that I always use, the same skin tones I always use, and it gets boring, right? That's another reason why I wanted this chart for myself, is to branch out and get more variety and think it through a little more before I start coloring. So yeah, these ones focus with the E00s because those are all the pinky tones. And then to shade, I've got E95, which is again very pinky, but I also included some E11 just to tone down this color a little bit in the shadows because, I mean, generally shadows are more desaturated than the highlights, and so I just use that to tone that down a little bit. And then my R20 and R21 for the cheeks. Those are my go-to cheek colors. R20 all the time, and if I wanted a bit more dark, R21. And yeah, I already mentioned this on the E50s, and then also E33 in the shadows, then R01 and R02. I could have used these ones instead as well, but I just wanted to try doing something different for the cheeks between the two. So that's what I decided to do. This one's just slightly more on the orange side. It's slightly closer to a salmon pink than this one is, but either combination can work pretty well. Down here, I used a very random assortment to get this look. So I've got a YR000, but then an E21, an E53, E33, and E15. So to me, that's kind of like a whole jumble of categories because I consider like my YR is a category, the E00s are a category, the E50s are a category, and then my E10s, like the E15, 17, 18, to me that's a category. And so this one's kind of the mix. And so I just figured that those colors worked really nicely together when I was experimenting, and this is how it turned out. So I quite like that one. Well, I like all of them, but I was surprised at the combination for that one. Then this one here, let me see if I should angle the picture a little bit to not get too much glare here because it is a little bit reflective, as you can see. So maybe I should show them all again. Just slightly tilted. It becomes more of an issue with the darker colors, I find, because for some reason, my dark browns are very syrupy. I've always had troubles blending my dark browns, and I've had it ruin art in the past, but it worked out still pretty well. You can see some things, like see this line right here across her face. That's not supposed to be there, but I could not get the color to blend out. It was getting like goopy and syrupy, and I don't know. But anyway, I really like these combinations. So for this one, my E53, 33, 35, then 15 and 17. This one's also kind of a little bit of a mix, but I really like how these ones work together. For the cheeks, I used these colors. It might be a little bit bright for your tastes. Same with this one. It might look a little bit bright to you. So it's totally up to you what you want to use. I just really liked the way those ones looked. So yeah, I guess not a whole lot else to say about that. And then for this one, I used my E10s. So E13, E15, E17, E18, and then my E79 to just bring the shadows a bit darker. These E10s are also a little bit on the reddish side, so they will bring more redness to the skin tone, which I actually like because it's a nice warm color. Skin is warm, so I feel like it works really nicely. And then, yeah, these colors for the cheeks. You can avoid the lighter ones if you don't want that neon-y effect. I used it around the edge and it almost makes it look like our cheeks are glowing. Yeah, I don't know. I hope you guys like these combinations because I think it turned out nicely, and I'm just so glad I finally did this. Whoop. So if you've been struggling with combinations for skin colors, or you just don't really know what colors to buy next, then I hope this is super helpful for you, because I've been meaning to do this for a while. It was on my to-do list at one point. I always make these lists of videos I want to do, but then I lose the list and then I forget what videos are on the list. This is one I've been meaning to do for a while now, and so I'm glad I got it done, and I hope it's helpful for you, because it was helpful for me. And yes, I guess that's all I really need to say about it. So yes, and in the future, when my website is up and running that I'm working on, I'll have like a scan of this. I'll have like a resource page where you can see any kind of charts or things I do like this, so you don't have to come back to this video in the future. For now, you'll have to, but in the future, it should be up on the website. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video.
Oh my god, that joke. It's like terrible joke.
Baby, she's psycho. You know, they did this as kittens, but they never did, like, they haven't done it in forever. She's like going nuts, you guys. Okay, I gotta